Before you pack up the U-Haul and head down to the Big D, there is some stuff you really need to know. And I'm not talking about the basic Dallas is big, hot, and has a great barbecue, right? I'm talking about the real life, boots on the ground, nobody tells you this until it's too late kind of information. Because yes, Dallas is booming, right? But there's also a lot change that can really affect your move in ways you probably haven't even thought about yet. Property taxes, yeah, higher than you expect. Traffic, and that's definitely gonna be a beast. New developments, yeah, they're game changers, but only if you know where to look. Listen, I've helped tons of families relocate here, and let me tell you, some absolutely crushed it, and others, well, let's just say they wish they had seen our videos first. So if you really want that inside scoop, the local tips, and a little reality check with your sweet tea, you're in the right place, guys. This isn't just another moving to Dallas video. This is the one that's gonna save you time, money, and stress before you even hit the highway. All right, so let's talk about why everyone and their mama is packing up and heading down to Dallas, right? I'm talking about people from Cali, Chicago, New York, even folks from overseas. Yeah, it's starting to get a little wild, guys. And the first big reason, guys, is gonna be the opportunity. Dallas has been a magnet for job growth over these last few years, and in 2025, it's still not letting up at all. Companies are setting up shop here left and right. I mean, from tech to healthcare, finance, logistics, I mean, you name it, it's here. And they're not just bringing any jobs, guys, they're bringing the high-paying jobs that everybody wants. Listen, we're talking about HQ relocation, startup scaling, and remote workers realizing they can get a whole house here for the price of a studio apartment back home. Next up, guys, is going to be the no state income tax, and this one hits different when you see your paycheck. Folks from California and New York are getting emotional when they realize they get to keep more of their hard-earned money. And with the rising cost of living in other big metros, Dallas feels like a financial sigh of relief. But it's not just about the money, right? People come here for the quality of life. I want you to think suburbs with the actual sidewalk, schools with solid reputation. And again, you got to do your own research and master plan communities that come with all the upgrades and amenities you could ever want. And get this, families really love them. Retirees love the weather, and young professionals, they're loving the growing nightlife and restaurant scenes in places like Deep Ellum, Legacy West, and Bishop Arts. Listen, I had a couple from Jersey who told me, look, we're tired of the gray skies, we're tired of the high rent, and we're tired of scraping snow off our windshield every morning. If you fast forward about 2 months, they're in Rockwall sipping wine on their back patio, texting me pics of the sunsets like I don't see them every day. But the bottom line is, whether it's for the jobs, the lifestyle, or just to escape the cold and some of these wild rent prices, Dallas has become the go-to landing spot for people who just want more. And right here is where we're gonna get a little real, right? It's not always about the sunshine and the opportunity, because for every family that thrives, there's someone else who didn't get the full picture before they moved. And that's exactly why we need to talk about what life in Dallas actually feels like once you're here. The good, the spicy, and the brutally honest. Listen, guys, but before we do that, if this is your first time to the channel, I'm Mark with the Dallas Relocation Guide, and we help people buy, sell, and relocate right here to the Dallas Metroplex. Listen, nobody out there is bringing you the type of videos that we do, giving you that immersive feel. So if you're thinking about making a move, feel free to reach out. All of our contact info's down in the description below and pinned to the top of the check. So what's it really like to live the Dallas lifestyle, right? So you've heard about the jobs and the taxes and the fresh start, but what is life really like when you get to Dallas and the honeymoon phase starts to fade? Well, let me go ahead and break all this down for you guys. Living in Dallas is like having access to everything. The big city buzz, the small town vibes, and the Texas-sized personalities. But here's the thing, right? It all depends on where you lay. If you're in downtown or uptown, expect walkability, rooftop bars, and the valet parking just everywhere. Listen, there's always something going on. Food festivals, art shows, concerts, and Deep Ellum, that's your spot for all the live music and the late night eats, right? And if you head over to Bishop Arts, you'll get the vintage shops, craft cocktails, and that brunch that'll have you in a mimosa coma before 11 a.m. Now, if you head north, like places like Frisco, Plano, or Prosper, and it's a whole different world up there, right? I want you to think top-rated schools, massive master plan communities, and more soccer fields than Starbucks. You know, people up here are gonna be jogging with their strollers, grabbing coffee at the local cafes, and heading to the community movie nights like it's straight out of a Netflix family series. And the weather, I mean, let's talk about it, guys. Spring and fall are vibes. The winter is gonna be mild. You might get a random ice day once or twice, but it's nothing compared to shoveling snow. And then there's sun, AKA the surface of the sun. July and August will have you questioning every outdoor decision you've ever made. But here's a pro tip. Don't buy leather seats unless you plan on buying some tent as well. But look, what really surprises people the most is just how diverse Dallas is. You know, culturally, socially, and professionally, the city really brings people together from all over the place. The food scene, right? You can eat tacos from a gas station, and they're fire, by the way. Or just hit up a 5-star steakhouse on the same block. Listen, Southern hospitality is real, but so is the passive-aggressive driving, so just keep both of your eyes open when you're on 635. Bottom line is, Dallas is fast-growing, fast-living, and just full of contrast. You know, one minute you're in a cowboy had at the state fair eating fried butter, yeah, that's really a thing. And the next you're touring a 2 million smart home in Salina. It's got something really for everybody, but only if you know how to navigate it. And then speaking of changes, right, 2025 is bringing some major moves to Dallas that could seriously change the game for buyers, renters, and all my investors alike. But let's hit pause on that, right? Because if you're thinking about moving to Dallas in 2025, you really need to know that this Dallas isn't even the same as it was 2 years ago. Listen, and I'm not just saying that to be dramatic. I'm talking about the game-changing developments happening right now that are reshaping where people live and how they commute, and also what kind of homes they can even find. So if you're trying to time your move, buy smart, and just not get caught off guard, this is the section that you really need to lock in for. So let's kick off with probably the biggest headline of 2025, and that's going to be Universal Studios is coming to Frisco, Texas. Yeah, you heard that right. Not Orlando, not Hollywood, Frisco, Texas. It's really going to be the smaller, family-focused version for their, main parks. It's really going to be designed for younger kids, but the impact, that's going to be massive. Listen, this park is going just off of Dallas North Tollway and Panther Creek Parkway, and it's already pushing demand and prices through the roof. And if you're thinking, oh, I'll just wait until it's built and then I'll buy, you're going to have to think again, guys, because then you're going to be paying universal inflated premiums. Now let's talk about infrastructure, right? Because with so much growth, Dallas's traffic needed to glow up as well. And TxDOT heard us loud and clear. Listen, there's major upgrades happening on I-35, US 380, and a lot of the feeder roads throughout the North Dallas area, like McKinney and over in Princeton as well. These aren't just going to be minor fixes either. We're talking about new toll lanes, widened roads, and an overpass expansion that will connect the emerging suburbs more directly to the downtown hubs. Translation, the farther out you go, the more livable these areas are about to become. I want you to think Forney, Princeton, even more parts of Melissa or Heartland, right? They're getting easier to access, which also means they're getting more and more expensive. Then there's going to be the corporate migration wave still going strong. We're talking about big tech, healthcare, and logistic companies, and they're loving our business-friendly climate, and they're bringing jobs, people, and all the money with them. What's going to be the result of this? Places like Plano and Legacy West have gone from nice suburb to full-on work-play ecosystems. Look, you've got the luxury apartments, rooftop lounges, corporate HQs, and the bougie sushi spots all on the same block. And listen, it's not even stopping there, right? Salina, Prosper, and Aubrey are all zoning out the new mixed-use developments as we speak. I really want you to think like mini Plano vibes with a little more breathing room and maybe a goat next door. But look, what really has the local real estate scene buzzing is the city's shift in zoning and housing policies, right? Dallas is now pushing to add more townhomes, duplexes, and affordable housing units closer to the city cores. And what's the goal of all this? To combat the rising housing costs and make Dallas more accessible to more people. Well, look, there's always got to be a downside, right? And that's going to be one of the things that we're going to talk about now. It's stirring up some debates among residents who aren't too thrilled about, the density creeping out into their backyard. But what's the downside? And I really understand where they're coming from, because some residents, they're not too thrilled about people coming into their backyards because there's so many new developments coming. I'm like, let's not even forget the commercial developments like the PGA headquarters over in Frisco. That alone is creating a luxury boom in the north alongside the Stars, which is a $5 billion mile expansion, and the new entertainment districts. Frisco is really starting to feel like the Beverly Hills of North Texas. So yeah, 2025 is not the year to sleep on the market, right? All this growth is great, but it also comes with the real consequences: price jumps, construction delays, neighborhoods changing seemingly overnight. And that brings us to the very real question. How much is all of this really going to cost? How much is all this growth and expansion really going to cost me when I move to Dallas? Because spoiler alert, it's not just about the mortgage anymore. There's also a lot of hidden expenses most folks never even see coming. And this leads me to what you guys really came here for, right? The houses. Because yeah, Dallas is more affordable than LA, New York, or even Austin in most cases, right? But that doesn't mean that it's cheap. And if you're coming here thinking that your $500K budget is going to get you just a McMansion with a pool and a 3-car garage in the heart of Frisco, I got some news for you. That is false. Let's start with the basics, right? Home prices have gone up across the metroplex. While we're still below most of the national highs in some categories, the demand is real, especially in hot areas like Frisco, McKinney, Plano, and Prosper, where all the new construction is booming. We even still have wait lists in some areas. That's right. Wait lists are back. Some communities are still doing lottery systems for buyers in 2025. Speaking of new construction though, there's a huge divide between the resale homes and the builder homes right now. Builders are out here dropping serious incentives for people. Think rate buydowns, $15K in closing costs, appliance packages, the works. And why is that, right? Because they're competing with the resale homes that may be older but have lower property taxes or no mud and pit fees attached to those homes. So you've got to weigh all those trade-offs carefully, right? And that really takes us into the part that nobody really talks about up front, all of the hidden hidden costs. Property taxes in Texas are no joke. You know, we don't have any state income tax, but trust me, they will make up for it on your mortgage bill with those mud and pit taxes. These mud and pit taxes are common in master plan communities, especially in our newer suburbs. These can literally add hundreds to your monthly payments and stretch out for 20 plus years. I mean, our HOA fees, they vary widely from $300 a year to $150 a month, just depending on where you land and what's included. And then you got to factor in home insurance, which has gone up across the board due to the storm risk and all the inflation. And that monthly number you thought was manageable, yeah, not so much anymore. And let's not forget about the rookie mistake I see all the time. Renting in an area to test it out, falling in love with it, then realizing you can't afford to buy there later. That's really a heartbreaking situation, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Now, none of this is meant to scare you guys, but it's just a reality of buying in a competitive, fast-growing market. But with the right game plan and the right guidance, hey, your lovely neighborhood buying guide, you can absolutely win here, no problem. And trust me, guys, you definitely need a plan, because choosing the right home is only really half the battle. Picking the right area, though, that's where most people get this wrong. So let me walk you through how to actually match your lifestyle with the right neighborhood. All right, so you figured out that you want to live in Dallas, but where in Dallas exactly? And listen, I get it. When you look at the map, everything looks so close, doesn't it? You're in your mind thinking, oh, well, Frisco is just a little bit north of Dallas, and that's not that bad. Then the next thing you know, you're in a 55-minute commute, wondering how your entire day disappeared on 121. So let's really break this down, because the biggest mistake I see relocation buyers make is falling in love with the house, but hating the lifestyle that comes with that area. Listen, you really want to start by asking yourself two questions. What does your day-to-day look like? What do you want your weekends to feel like? If you're going to be commuting downtown for work or need to be near the airport, you might need to stay closer, to Irving, Las Colinas, or parts of Plano could be clutch for you. Or if you're working remote and just want some space, newer homes, and that small-time vibe with a Target, then Forney, Salina, or Midlothian might hit the mark for you. And let's really compare walkability versus space, guys. If you want to step out of your door and grab coffee, brunch, or yoga, you want to check out places like Lower Greenville, Bishop Arts, or parts of Plano's Legacy West. But if you're more into peace, quiet, and letting your kids bike down the street without having to worry about them, the suburbs like Rockwall, Prosper, and Melissa have exactly what you're looking for. Listen, families often ask about our schools all the time. And while I've learned every parent has a different version of what they want, I can tell you that places like Frisco ISD, Allen ISD, and Lovejoy ISD are well known for academic excellence and extracurricular offerings. Just be sure to do your own research on that, guys. That's what I tell everybody. School ratings change and boundaries can shift mid-year. But here's a personal tip. Always drive the area around the time you'd normally be out and about. Listen, that perfect neighborhood at 2 p.m. might be very different during traffic hours at 6 p.m. or 11 p.m. on a Friday night. And you always want to check the commute routes to major highways as well, right? DFW traffic patterns can make or break your daily life. One of my clients thought they really wanted to live in McKinney until they saw just how long the school pickup line was and realized they needed more of a laid-back pace. Listen, they ended up choosing Aubrey, and that just got them a lot more home for their money, and now they text me pictures of the backyard barbecues that they have every single weekend. Look, the right neighborhood is just like dating, right? Don't go just for the looks. Go for the lifestyle and the compatibility. And speaking of compatibility, let's keep it real, guys. Even when people find the perfect place, Dallas life isn't just always sunshine and smoked brisket. There's always going to be some hard truths that hit you once you actually get to living. And if you're not ready for them, guys, it can feel like a slap from the hot Texas summer. All right, now I think it's time that we have the talk, because moving to Dallas really sounds amazing, right? Great food, no state income tax, a booming job market, shiny new homes everywhere. But if we're going to keep it real, and you guys know that I always do, Dallas isn't all backyard barbecues and rooftop margaritas, right? Let's start with the obvious one, and that's going to be the weather. Yes, it's going to be a lot warmer than you're probably coming from, but warm typically turns into face melting, steering wheel scorching, why is the sky angry heat around June. And then July and August, easily over 100 degrees every single day, and sometimes it doesn't cool off even at night. And listen, don't get me started on the humidity. Wise, we're not as bad as Houston, but you're still gonna feel that, guys. And if you have naturally curly hair, just know it's about to develop a personality of its own. Then there's gonna be tornado season. Look, is it every day? No. Are you gonna get blown away your first week being in Dallas? Probably not, but you will hear a siren eventually, guys. And when that first weather alert hits at 2 a.m., you're gonna be Googling, where the heck do I hide, in the pantry or the bathtub? Welcome to Texas. Now let's switch gears and talk about construction. Dallas is growing fast, maybe even too fast sometimes. That means constant construction. The highways are always under construction. The neighborhoods are popping up overnight, and your GPS might take you through a detour that feels like a cornfield one week and a Starbucks drive-through the next. Listen, it's really chaotic, and if you're not prepared, it can definitely be frustrating. Talking about traffic, well, it depends on where you live, right? But major corridors like 75, 635, and I-35 can turn into a parking lot during the peak hours. And the drivers here, just think of it as Formula One and Mario Kart energy. If you know, you know. And here's one most people are not going to even talk about, and that's going to be the social shift. If you're moving here from a coastal city, the culture shock might catch you off guard. Things are going to be a little bit slower. You know, people are going to wave at you for no reason, and yes, you're going to probably be called sir or ma'am at one point in time in the grocery store. At first, it's kind of charming, then it kind of gets confusing, and then it's just normal. But look, none of this is really meant to scare you, right? It's meant to prepare you, because the people who thrive here are the ones who walk in with both eyes open and the expectations aligned. Look, Dallas is a vibe, right? But it's not for the faint of heart. It's going to be for the folks who are ready to build something new, embrace the changes, and adapt to a city that's growing just as fast as they are. And if you're still nodding your head like, yep, I'm good with all that, then congrats. You might be ready to call Dallas home, and you know I'm your guy to make all of that happen. But before you go and book that flight and schedule these showings, let's talk about what you need to do next to actually make this move happen smoothly. Because a plan without action, that's just a Pinterest board. So now that you've gotten the full picture, right, the perks, the pitfalls, and all the behind the scenes of living in Dallas, what's next? And that's going to be really simple, guys. Don't do this alone. Whether you're still months out or ready to make the move next week, the best thing you can do is connect with someone who knows the market, knows these neighborhoods, and knows how to help you land where you actually want to be. And listen, that is what me and my team do. We help relocation clients every single week make that move to Dallas without all the stress and second guessing. Listen, all my info's down in the description and pinned to the top of the chats, guys. And hey, if you're still just in that research phase, we created a whole playlist of everything that you would need to learn about Dallas, and you can check those out right there.